So I've been fucking up the past 3 years. Pasta actually causes weight loss, cause fucking Newsweek said so. I'm gonna reevaluate my life. Fuck keto, fuck carnivore. It's time to go goddamn to the fucking Olive Garden and load up on some fucking pasta and bread and shit. Cause I'm gonna lose weight. Yeah. Over the weekend, I got triggered because of a friend of mine who shall remain nameless sent me a Newsweek article. You know, he's obviously been watching what I've been doing or heard about it and about the carnivore thing and, you know, was concerned that I might be hurting myself and maybe gonna fucking die. Could be, could not be. Still not dead. Still healthy. Still feel good. Still emotionally stable. I think I'm alright. But, the fuck do I know? Only been doing it for 3 years. So, Newsweek published an article saying eating pasta linked to weight loss in a new motherfucking study. This article was by Kashmira Gandhar in Ontario. Now, I've been disillusioned with mainstream media, alright? It's opinion, it's manipulative, it's usually got corporate bias, corporate influence because they pay the bills. And overall, it doesn't, you know, I can't watch it. It's a blog now. When you have clickbait fucking titles, they're all clickbaity, which that is. Anybody can read that? Oh, some people will just read that and be go, oh shit, I can eat pasta. I fucking saw a headline the other day. It said, hey, time to go to Olive Garden, losing weight. Yeah, all you can eat breadsticks. Oh, fucking pasta. Yeah, come on with the fucking glucose and the starch. Yeah. Not how it works, all right? Not how it works. If pasta was really a weight loss tool, we'd be a hell of a lot fucking thinner in the USA, I tell you that. Because pasta is fucking everywhere. Everywhere. It's cheap as fuck, too. That Kraft macaroni and cheese must be the cheese made me fat, right? And the butter? Yeah, not the pasta. Take the pasta away from that and I lose weight. How does that work? Thanks, she wrote, thanks to the popularity of the low-carbohydrate diets such as keto and paleo, foods like pasta are widely seen as enemy number one when it comes to weight loss. But a study linking pasta to weight loss suggests the Italian staple has been wrongly vilified. Right. Okay, wrongly vilified. If you take some here, this is an N equal 1 that you could actually I could and have actually done. I took a low carbohydrate. I like pasta, by the way. I'm a low carbohydrate motherfucker. If I go and eat pasta, I will gain 4 fucking pounds in the next 2 days, without fail. 4 pounds, 2 days, guaranteed. And then I have to go back to low carb to lose it. If I continue to eat pasta. And we're talking, that's the only variable changed in the diet. If I continue to eat pasta, that weight continues to climb. Probably not linked to weight loss. And that's just from my personal experience. And the experience of thousands of subscribers who have told me that that same shit happened to them. But what the hell do we know? We're just the little people. We're not scientists and fucking article writers and shit. We don't know shit. We do know shit. That's why I love YouTube. Because we're sharing our shit. And the more of us tell our stories, the more of us that share our experiences, both in the comments and through videos and through posts, the more data we have that is outside the influence of the corporate environment. Academia is polluted with corporate science. Corporation-funded science. The media is also little puppets of the corporations that pay their bills, advertisers, i.e. So they're not going to shit where they eat, so to speak. So if, pharmaceutical industries, medical industries, and food industries all want to push the narrative that plant-based or pasta and all of that is good and that meat is bad and that we need to stop worrying about carbs and eat less and move more and watch your shit, that's what you are going to hear on the media. Every once in a while, one of our side goes in there and sponsors themselves onto their news network and states their opinion while selling or plugging whatever the hell they're selling or plugging. But for the most part, the general narrative is along the lines of this fucking article. And it's everywhere. And the reason I'm calling you out, Newsweek and Kashmira, is I want you to improve the difference between fucking opinion and fucking facts. And this article is an opinion of a study which was very marginal to shitty. All right, and here's why. By analyzing participants' body weight, BMI, body fat, and waist measurements, the researchers behind the study published in the BMJ Open Journal found that pasta did not contribute to weight gain and increased fat levels. So they didn't gain weight. That's good. Over 12 weeks. Over 12 weeks, they lost half a kilo on average. Half a fucking kilo! Holy shit! I think I've taken shits that weighed more than half a kilo. I have had a 1 kilo fucking variance overnight in some cases, so I was sleeping that shit off. Must have been eating fucking pasta or something in my sleep. Are you fucking kidding me? How can you write this entire fucking article with a half a kilo when you can have a 4 to 8 pound variance? A kilo, I believe, is 2 pounds or some shit. And a half a kilo, obviously, 1 pound. 12 weeks, lost a pound. Yay for pasta. A victory for fucking weight loss everywhere. We should all go down to the store and buy us some fucking mac and cheese and shit. Bullshit. Why do you publish this shit? Why? Why can't you just tell the truth? And if you can't tell the truth because your bill payers are going to fucking pull their money off of you, then maybe you should put it in the opinion section. Okay, that's the problem I have with all of news media today, is the motherfuckers are putting the opinions out as facts. They don't delineate between opinion. They'll take shit out of context. They'll manipulate your view on something. That's why we have a Fox News versus CNN News, because they're both pushing opinions on your ass. No facts. Only the facts that support their views make it to your fucking TV. This is why I don't watch that shit. I don't want that. I can think for myself, asshole. I don't need you to tell me how to think. I don't want you to tell me how to think. And that is the problem with all news media today, because it became more about views, clicks, advertising revenue, and fucking getting us to do things that benefit corporate interests. That is what the fuck is on TV. That is what the fuck is on media. Not what's good for us. Not public health. Not how to lose weight properly. None of these things are on the agenda. It's what'll get you triggered, what'll keep you upset, what'll keep you divided, what'll change your fucking mind, what will influence you so that you Keep it in that healthcare treadmill. Keep in the food treadmill. Keep in the gym treadmill. Keep spending, more spending, and more fucking spending on top of that. And then when you're done with that, you need to spend your kids' money too while you're at it, because that's what we're doing. Yeah, that is what's going on. And I stepped out of that. I want to stay the fuck out of that. I still look in on this, but I look at it, okay, let's see what the Newsweek blog says today, or the CNN blog, or the fucking Fox News blog, or any of these other blogs. They're entertaining, certainly, to see this shit, but that's not where I get my information. I try and sort out the facts, and the only way to really do that is to take all of it as a whole. What are the different opinion pieces all have in common? And then maybe you get an idea of what's really fucking going on. But yeah, it's a whole lot of shit to have to sort through. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. And I am. So I don't take in a lot of mainstream media anymore. I try not to. It still pops up though, because I'm still in social media. And I'm not leaving social media. I have to be there. Because I need to know what's going on. I do need to keep in touch with these trends so that I can talk shit and call people out that are being stupid. And this article, in my opinion, I have to put that there. This is an opinion piece, by the way. I'm not presenting facts. This is my fucking channel. I'm not an expert. I'm just an asshole. And I have a right to say my opinion on your shitty article and pretty much your whole publication loses credibility when I see shit like this in a news section. So let's take a look at Kashmir. Well, first, let's go into the study. So the study, goes into, it just pretty much repeats. There were 2,448 participants. The links to all this shit will be in the description. But here's what the article left out. Now, if you read that article in a layman way, you're going to think, oh yeah, I lose weight. That means I'm not going to be as fat, right? When it really doesn't. It doesn't say that. It's careful. It's pretty, I don't know if it's intentional careful or, what. But it implies that you're doing wrong if you're avoiding this in your diet. And you're going to lose weight, i.e. you're probably not going to be as fat if you follow this diet. But there was no significant effect on other measures of adiposity, as in measurements, as in DEXA scans, which were all probably done in those randomized controlled trials. Their certainty of the evidence was graded as moderate for body weight, BMI, WHR, and SAD, and a low WC and body fat diet. So they observed a little bit of a weight difference. But so you're going to draw your whole conclusion based on that? And you left that out of your article. As in, there was no other effect on fat. Now, that could have been spun to a benefit. Okay, they didn't gain weight. Now, we don't know what they were eating. We don't know how much they were eating. We don't know how much exercise they were doing. We don't know a whole lot of shit about these different studies. I'm sure you can probably dig into the studies that are cited, which are down here. I didn't feel like doing that because I didn't like the study to begin with. It's not a good conclusive study, and there's some good studies in there that they're pulling from. You got Gary Taubes, you got Ludwig, you got Atkins. So apparently they went into a whole lot of different studies, dietary fiber and body weight. So they pulled from quite a bit in this meta-analysis. But a meta-analysis is not a conclusion. It does not give you a conclusion. You need a direct, randomized controlled trial where the only variable is pasta. The only variable. No other variables exist in order to do that. And you can do this in yourself, by the way. You can do an N=1. Eat the same shit every day. Eat the same shit every day. Just change pasta. Eat the same time every day. Do the same amount of physical activity every day. Just change the pasta and see what happens. I guarantee you're not going to see anything good. If best case scenario, you won't see anything bad. I don't know. But for me, I've done this. And when I introduced pasta while being keto, I gained 4 pounds over the next 2 days. There's an initial drop sometimes, by the way, which is an effect of dehydration. Because when you consume carbohydrates, you need water to put it in to make, glycogen. So, you're storing water weight. And you're also storing fat, which also requires water. And if you didn't take in enough water, you're going to lose weight from water weight. But then it'll jump back up because you'll be drinking water. And all that water, you'll notice you'll be drinking a lot of water, but you won't be pissing much. And that's where the water weight comes in. So you gain 4 pounds, I do anyway, when I eat pasta. And that's the only variable often when that happens, because that's one of my favorite cheat day foods to do. And I haven't had a cheat day in a long time. For other reasons, too. There's other reasons to avoid pasta and bread. This is just talking at it from a weight loss perspective. So I gain the weight. And then if I keep eating pasta, I've done this test, too. Trust me. Been there, done that. I keep gaining the weight. It doesn't stop. So you're going to tell me that pasta's okay. When one of the things that I had to give up that I didn't want to give up, I did everything in my power to keep pasta in my life. And I had to come to the realization that pasta had to go. And just along with bread and all the other grains don't belong in our diet. I'm convinced of that, given for multiple reasons. We do not need bread and pasta in our diet. We don't. There is no natural precedence for that to be in our diet. Even if we occasionally ate some fucking ground up wheat in the hunter-gatherer times, it was probably because they didn't have the shit that they normally ate and they were getting desperate. And I don't think we should consider a food of desperation to prevent starvation a tool for health. It is a tool for survival, If all the world went to shit and you couldn't find nothing else and all we had left was a shit ton of pasta, then you might live a little longer, yet all but unhealthier, than if you didn't eat it and starved to death. So, yeah, there's a spectrum to be had. There's a case to be made there. But pasta is a weight loss tool when they only lost half a kilo in 12 weeks. That's fucking... I can't think of a diet that would call itself successful and publish anything if they only lost half a kilo. So, your entire fucking article is bullshit. So, this is, these are the titles of where this is every article submitted by her. World, health, U.S. These are all news. Culture, health, U.S., health, tech and science, U.S. I don't see opinion on here. Where's the opinion? You clearly have an opinion based on your health leanings, but, and your articles support your opinion. Not much. You probably wouldn't do a health article if you didn't agree with it, which is a problem if you are a news source. And don't worry, you're not alone, Newsweek. The whole CNN versus Fox News shit, all of this, opinion pushing and agenda pushing is destroyed news today. News should be an unbiased presentation of facts. If you want to have opinion pieces, you need to separate them from the news. Okay, for the next hour, I'm going to watch the fucking news. The news should be all facts during that hour with no fucking opinion. Then the next hour say, okay, it's opinion time. What do we think of this story? What do we think of that story? There is nothing delineating that. It's all fucking blurred together. It's all mixed together, sometimes in the same fucking story. And this is my problem with news. And not to mention telling me what opinion I should have, what I should be outraged about, who I should hate, who I should love. You're telling me how to think, and I can think for myself. I don't need or want any media outlet to tell me how to think. Share your opinion. But don't try to influence mine. Don't try and change my mind with your news. Or try and get me to make very detrimental decisions to my health based on your news. Because that is just a clickbaity pile of shit designed to get all of us fucking ketos to come click on your article and get pissed off. You probably love that I'm triggered by this because it's bringing attention to your article. People will read it. People will come and look. I've seen it. It happens whenever I poke the vegans, by the way. They come in a little army of them come in, and they go, oh, you piece of shit, you're ugly, I hate you. Dr. Greger is for life, nutritionfacts.org. Yeah, every time. And I make a good amount of ad revenue off those videos, but I don't do them all the time. I only do them when the vegans really trigger me. And there has been a little bit of that lately, and we'll get into that. But this is another article by Kashmira. Donut fries. Where to buy Dunkin' Donuts' newest snack. Now, nothing smacks of this was a paid spot more than this fucking article. Yet, in the health section? Where was this article I saw? Let's go down here. There it is. Oh, it's in the U.S. It's in the main fucking news page in the United States. Where to buy Dunkin's newest snack. So that's important news. I'm glad that you're giving us this news on where to find Dunkin' Donuts' newest snack. Yeah. So this is who you want to take weight loss advice from? Really? Okay, so now that I've pointed out the hypocrisy, the corporate interests influence here, and the leaving out of certain facts while emphasizing other facts as a way to manipulate our opinion, yeah. Well, he commented because of my carnivore experiment with this article. Also by Kashmir. I love you, Kashmir. I want to give you a big fucking hug for giving me all this triggered material. Study finds meat proteins increase heart disease risk. Plant-based diets improve cardiovascular health. Fuck! Now, that's actually, I think that's a bad clickbait title unless you're a vegan, because vegans will love this article probably, and I haven't even read it yet. We're going to go through it a little bit here. But I didn't get past that title when he sent that. I'm like, I'm not even fucking reading that. Not reading it. It's a pile of shit. I can already tell that the study it's based on is a pile of shit because it has an agenda. Oh, she updated it. A new study found that eating meat regularly is associated with 60% increase in heart disease, while plant-based proteins, so epidemiology. Associated, by the way. Epidemiology. Which proves no causation. Epidemiology. This presents it in a way, it is careful, but it presents it in a way that says you're going to get a fucking heart attack. That's what a normal person reading that title is going to be. Oh, a fucking heart attack, I eat meat. Shit. All of us carnivores are going to fucking die, according to this article. And researchers who investigated the effects of different sources of protein on the heart found that people who eat a lot of meat saw a sharp rise in the baseline risk of cardiovascular disease. However, eating protein from nuts and seeds was linked to a 40% reduction. So if you are eating a non-animal-based diet, you're going to live 1,000,000 years even though it's protein. But if you're eating meat, you're going to fucking die. Fuck me. I'm so triggered today. I cannot believe it. This is probably my most triggered video of all time. How can anybody take this shit seriously? How is this in here is news? Not in his opinion. If you put it in the opinion section, I won't even give it shit. But you're out here influencing decisions that people make. There's vegans right now that are going to cut and paste this fucking article to all their friends on fucking social media. Say, look, motherfucker, see, I'm doing it right, you're doing it wrong. And that's why I am making this post today, is because I'm tired of seeing this shit parroted and repeated as fact among people who are basically telling people to eat a certain way. And if you eat the wrong way, you are gonna fucking die. You are going to fucking have an intense amount of healthcare costs in the process of your slow death. And this is too important to bullshit about. So put your shit on a blog or an opinion. Do not put it in the news. And it's not just Newsweek. There are so many news organizations on TV and printed media that do this same shit. And I'm tired of it. I'm fucking tired of it. I really am. Because you're hurting people to make money. Which is the problem. Which is why we're so unhealthy. Which is why we're so angry and divided and miserable. And we're just fucking assholes now. Because of this problem. You're telling us how to think, what to eat, what to do, how to live, all the shit we should buy, what's important, what's not important, minimizing this, maximizing that, push your agenda, make everybody agree with you, and if they don't agree with you, we're going to pounce on you and just beat on you in the media until you're gone. That's what our media is today. And I'm fucking sick and tired of it. Tired. It needs to stop. And the only way it stops is when we stop watching. When we stop listening to it. And that's what I've done. I casually look. But I look through that lens of, this is going to be fucking interesting. Let's see what their stupidity is today. I very rarely watch the news and go, oh, that was fucking great. Oh my God, I'm going to change my life now. That's not happening. No. 9 times out of 10, if I watch the news, I'm going to be pissed off by the end of it. Or afraid of something. Never have I watched the news in recent, probably 10, 20 years almost, and been like, oh yeah, I feel better. I'm good. That was some good news. I am glad I watched the fucking news today. It made my day better. I didn't, I feel uplifted. I don't feel like arguing with anybody. I don't go on social media and trigger all of the people that are also going to be triggered by that news. And I don't go nuts trying to argue back and forth based on that news. I don't base my entire opinion on that news. It was all good news. I'm so happy that I watched the... No, that never fucking happens. It's shit. Why do we do that? Why? I don't understand. So, there's that. The study analyzed data from over 81,000 participants of the Adventist Health Study who filled out a questionnaire of their eating habits, because that's scientifically accurate. You should base a whole conclusion based on questionnaires that motherfuckers may or may not have filled out honestly. Who knows? You basically did a study on how honest people are on their fucking dietary habits. That's, only you didn't really rule out who was bullshitting and who wasn't. But, it is what it is. Protein from grains, processed foods, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. Now, here's a question. Okay, you hand a vegan that study. No matter what the vegan has done in their life, no matter what their health outcomes are, how do you think they're going to answer them questionnaires? How are you going to think the fuckers that have been told meat was bad for the past 50 years, who aren't vegans, are going to answer those questions? Even if they might eat a little more than fucking... study. It's shit. Epidemiology is worthless for drawing conclusions. You want to look at that, how worthless it is? You have to look no further than the diet heart hypothesis and Ansel Keys' epidemiology study, which is the foundation of the standard American diet and caused us all these problems. This is what happens when you eat based on epidemiology studies. It does not promote your health. There's nothing associated with this that associated with that causes you And they've lowered the bar on those associations, by the way. You know, cigarette smoking, a pretty strong epidemiology victory there. You know, smoking, lung cancer, 4 to 5 times risk if you smoke versus if you don't smoke. But now we're down to quoting shit that's, maybe 1.5%, 1.5 times more likely to cause blah, 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 blah. 1.5? Not much. Not enough to change your life. It's a pretty low risk, if you ask me. My favorite was the bacon one that came out a while back. Bacon causes cancer. Improves your likelihood of getting a certain kind of cancer by 17%. 17%. And if you were to account for variants and other variables that could have caused that same cancer, I'd argue that percentage is actually lower than that. But it's epidemiology, and we don't do that kind of shit in epidemiology. Not really. Because we don't track all the variables. We just track the things that we have data for. Because we can't control all the other variables. And there's plenty of other variables in terms of cancer. I don't even want to dig further. You're welcome to. They're just going to quote vegan studies that vegans have already been quoting to me, and I'm sorry, but there's plenty of evidence. And as far as my experience with people who are former vegans telling me their story, as far as the anecdotal evidence is overwhelming, as far as the 50% dropout rate of the vegan diet for health reasons, that's conclusive enough for my personal opinion that the vegan diet is not how we're supposed to eat. It is not a healthy diet. It is an ideologically diet, and I would argue that the ideology is flawed because of the amount of industrial agricultural damage we're doing to the planet and the amount of animals dying because of that.
From the beginning.
It's like they knew I was talking shit about vegans.
Journey.
Stop!
With no map.
I don't want your shit.
Or rulebook.
Epidemiology is shit. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you, I should have just turned the volume down, but that's how I roll. I panicked. So, is meat bad for you? As a carnivore, I can tell you, no. No problems. In fact, improvements. There are some things that are changed. And I've received an enormous amount of feedback from people trying carnivore right now. I haven't seen this much love for a diet in a long time. Keto took a while for people to take hold. But there's an embracing of carnivore going on that I was unexpected. I expected maybe, 5 or 6 of you to be like, yeah, I'm doing carnivore, it works great, and the rest of you to take shit on it. But many of you are just reaching out and trying it. And, that's impressive. If anything, the worst case scenario, you don't like it, it doesn't do anything for you, it's not worth it, then you've done the homework. You've done the self-experiment, which ultimately is going to tell you, for you, what a food does and does not do. Elimination diet style is the best way to figure out what's good for you and what's bad for you. I say carnivore is a great baseline. Some people may disagree, vegans especially will disagree, but I believe if you went on a strict carnivore diet for 30 days and then gradually, one at a time, reintroduced your favorite, ketogenic foods, or if you want to test out the pasta theory, go ahead and give that a try and see how that works out for you. But, you can reintroduce and then see if the symptoms return. If certain symptoms return, then remove it. And if the symptoms go away again, without a shadow of a doubt, that particular food was causing you the problem. Do your homework that way instead of reading Newsweek or, myhealthyfuckingveganvlog.com or Dr. Greger's, FAP site, any of those sites, avoid that shit. Don't get your health advice from the, Today Show or CNN or Fox News or MSNBC. None of them motherfuckers are going to have your best interests in mind. So this was submitted to me by Helen Gunzel. I'm sorry if I fuck up your name. recommended I watch this and said don't be scared of protein in the carnivore diet. And since we just got done reading an article that protein from animals is going to give you all kinds of cancer and shit, I felt it appropriate for me to follow up with something a little more scientific than an epidemiology study, and it's still an opinion piece. You got to understand, this is this doctor's interpretation of studies. So it's an opinion, but, you know, the facts that he's stating aren't, he's separating his opinion from the facts. That's where I come in. He states facts, and it's those facts that I look at, not the opinions necessarily associated with. Even if I agree with the opinions, I do try and separate the opinions from the facts. So let's just take a look real quick at Dr. Benjamin Bikman. I do recommend this entire video. I have watched it all the way through, and if you're concerned about protein intake, or especially in the context of a ketogenic diet and how much you can have, whether or not it affects ketosis, he goes into that. And he basically educates us on glucagon and insulin and the ratio and how that can turn on and off these different modes of metabolism in the body. So let's just take a quick look.
And at least sufficient carnitine, and then we have the formula for ketones. Now, this is a pretty academic way of looking at it. Me saying low insulin, increased glucagon, and perhaps the more practical side is to simply add in the relevant macronutrients. And I submit, when we're eating a real diet and nevertheless appreciating the relevance of carbohydrates and keeping them controlled, it ends up being a mix that would look something like this, where we have protein combined with fat, combined with carnitine, providing the recipe for ketogenesis. And you might look at this and say, well, where could we get such a magical food that contains this wonderful mix of stuff? Well, it's not very hard to find it. Red meat is the perfect source of these three components of ketogenesis. Now, I appreciate, as I have been offering this version of a low-carb diet that is not eschewing protein to the degree that some people do, I appreciate that I may be inadvertently upsetting people. And so here's my diplomatic conclusion here. There are multiple ways, of course, to adhere to a low-carb diet. I kind of have two versions of that presented.
All right. So that's just a quick sample. He gets into a lot of the science and how glucagon works, and he does, dumb it down a bit. It's not a very boring lecture. I actually enjoyed it. And I watch a lot of boring shit. So that's kind of where I'm going to tie into the carnivore thing and what I'm currently experimenting with and my idea going forward from this experiment. I'm going to fall in this camp where you see the protein's bigger than this little protein over here and shit. I'm going to fall into that camp when I'm done with this carnivore experiment. I will introduce some of my favorite keto things. It's mostly in the realm of dessert, as in, the artificial sweetener I've already brought back and to no effect, really. Today, no effect. Yesterday, I felt a little hungrier, but that might have just been a coincidence because I'm not hungry today. And I didn't have an ambitious meal. I had a burger, ground beef patty with some eggs for dinner last night, and I snacked on some cheese and some turkey cold cuts. So I didn't eat a lot yesterday, and yet I'm full today, or fine. I feel good. So that's basically where I'm at as far as diet. And I want to bring back 100% unsweetened chocolate with some of my artificial sweetener in there, and I think I'll be good there. And eventually I want to do an experiment with the nuts I like to eat, pecans and my Veronica's Health Crunch being the worst. That'll be my worst junk food that I will occasionally bring in, but not every day. I definitely want to test it out and see the differences. And if I start to get into my depressive modes again, then I will remove those foods again and keep them gone. It's about eliminating, the diet. I'll bring things in I like from the keto diet, and if they cause a problem in and of themselves, I'll remove them If the problem goes away, then I know it was that food. And then even then, if I'm not sure, I could reintroduce it. Sometimes I really like a certain food and I just want it to work, as I did with pasta. And, I reintroduce and then bring out. And you do that with a specific food. Make that food the only variable you change in your daily eating habits. If you want to test this out, that means you got to kind of be a little bit boring with the rest of your diet while you're testing that food out. If you're going out to eat a lot, you're doing all this other shit that introduces entirely different amounts of variables, to do this, you really have to control the other foods that you eat and not change them. Eat the same shit consistently for a while you, or at least the same food groups consistently, but still there's variables in that. One meat could be better for you than another meat. One meat's more processed than another meat. I would go, if I really wanted to do a test, I'd do steak and eggs, organic, and do that with whatever dairy I normally eat. And that would be my meals for a while until I figured out whether this extra food is good or bad. That's how you can troubleshoot your diet and your health based on your goals. If your goal's weight loss, there's a diet for that. If your goal's mental illness and anxiety, there's a diet for that. Now, if your goals are autoimmune, there's a diet for that now. There are treatments for all of these issues. And if you do your homework, you can try different diets out and figure out which one is getting rid of the issue that means the most to you. There's other issues you might live with, and I can tell you, if I got obese again and lived without the emotional problems, sign me up. Fortunately for me, I'm not probably going to gain a lot of weight on a carnivore or even a ketovore diet. Somebody said ketovore. I changed it to ketovore, and that's what I'm rolling with my future diet plans. It's a ketovore, as in no green vegetables, no fruit, none of that shit. There might be some nuts, there might be some, chocolate, coffee, that kind of stuff, and maybe an occasional onion or mushroom. I'm going to experiment with that further down the line. Can I bring onions back into the mix? Can I bring mushrooms back? Because I like that. I like steak with onions and mushrooms and shit, sauteed, stuff like that. And that'll bring more flavor into and variety into it, and it also mixes well with eggs. So there's that. So there's going to be things I try and work back in going forward with a ketovore diet. How's that? Which doesn't give a fuck about the protein. When you can sit down and eat a prime rib that has 100 grams of protein, you overate protein that day. So according to everyone's dogma. But this guy lays out the science that kind of diffuses that argument. Gluconeogenesis and ketogenesis are both driven by insulin and glucagon ratio. So, and he goes into what different states, including fasting, cause different glucagon to insulin to glucagon ratios, which turn on and off these mechanisms in the body. And guess what? Keto is being used to treat cancer in certain patients now. So I would say your whole meat causes cancer thing is bullshit. Now, meat in the context, and he does do this in this study, when you increase protein in the context of the standard American diet, as in you're in a high insulin state all the time, it's a different process because of your insulin to glucagon ratio. And if your epidemiology lines up with that, then, on a carb-based diet, on a standard American diet, meat's probably bad. This is probably the foundation that most of the vegan argument is based on, is the studies that are in the context of a carb burner. Then you shouldn't be overeating, eating fat when you're in that state. And I've said that before. But a lot of these are taken out of context. They are. They take it out of that context and they say, well, if you're keto, you're going to die. If you're carnivore, you're going to die. You're going to die. If you eat meat, sorry, you're dead. Sorry, my bad. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you can come over here and just eat plants with us. with all the glyphosate and all the other shit that's problem with it, and the insecticides, and the fact that it's mineral deficient and it blocks all these. No, never mind all that. Meat's bad and shit. I don't know how I managed to go from eating pasta is good for you to meat is bad, and kind of bringing the vegan thing back into it, but I do sense a underlying veganism behind what I read today. But what the fuck do I know? Because I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Please like and subscribe for more triggered shit and other shit and information and shit. And I'll make more. If you like this video, you found it entertaining or helpful or enlightening in some way, and you want to contribute to the channel and help support my ability to spend a lot of time researching and also watching in the things that you guys send me and interacting and also making videos and going live, if you want to help me out, you can go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. There's a virtual tip jar there, and you can help fund the channel. You can also do so on Patreon. The links are all in the description, so check it out. Also, you can like me on Facebook, Scott the Truck Driver on Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter, though Twitter just kind of is a way for me to let you know when I post new shit. That's basically all I use Twitter for. But if you aren't getting notified of my videos and you want to be notified outside of the bounds of YouTube, you can do that, or you just go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and check that periodically, and you'll see all the shit in my blog. I post there first and then share it out to all the other platforms. So that's how you keep up with everything I'm doing. You can still click the bell and the like, and of course, comment here. That's fine if you don't want to go to those other platforms. Just check back if you haven't heard from me in a while and you want to. Sorry to pick on you, Kashmira, but you're just an example, and I should state that. You're just one of many that are doing this. And I understand. It's a business model. But every once in a while, you got to be prepared to be called out. And I'm calling you out. Do better science. Do better work before you put this shit out as news. And your shit belongs in the opinion section based on what these two articles. That's all I'm basing it on. Maybe you've done other good work in the past or in the future. I don't know. But based on those two articles, one of which I didn't even have the stomach to read all the way through because of how incredibly it smacked of bias. Just go ahead and separate fact from opinion in the future. And just a quick plug for Philip DeFranco. He does that beautifully. If you ever want to see how to do that in and report media, he does that. He gives you the facts, then he gives you his opinion, then he asks for your opinion. Those are the three stages, and he does so nice and neatly for each story. I would argue there should be an entire section devoted to the facts, and then there's an entire, that's the amount of separation I wish there were. But he's the next best thing, in my opinion. However, he even says he should not be your only news source, and you should not have one news source. You shouldn't just watch CNN and parrot that and hate on Fox. You should watch both. CNN, Fox, NBC, MSNBC. You should watch all of them. And then find the things that they aren't fighting about. And those are probably good facts. And they're not telling you how to think at that point. Because you're getting all the opinions. You're getting the opinion from one side. You're getting the opinion from the other side. And regardless of where you fall on that spectrum, at least you're opening yourself. Now, some people are incapable of that. They won't open themselves to the opposing viewpoints. And I can be guilty of that too. Especially in stuff I feel strongly about. But at the same time, you're not doing yourself a service by just glomming onto one outlet and taking all of their shit as gospel. Because there's a whole lot of their opinion that's going to end up in your fucking brain. And the only thing that should be in your brain is your opinion. Nobody else's. And that opinion should be based on shit that you know to be fact. Your opinion should never be based on the opinion of someone else. Your opinion should only come from your interpretation of facts. If you take someone else's opinion and you parrot that opinion, then you're not a free thinker. A free thinker is able to take facts, interpret them, and apply your own opinion to them. And I want everyone to be free thinkers. We don't have enough of them in the world. So have a nice motherfucking day and shit. And quit sending me fucking biased articles. I get so triggered. I know some of you guys like that. But I could do some with not triggering for a little bit. I think I got it all out today. I hope I did. It was like taking a good shit. You know, you feel so relieved afterwards. Now that I've taken this shit on Newsweek and the mainstream media in general, I can relax. Going live on Friday. If you see this before Friday. If you see this on Friday, I'll be live later. Have a nice motherfucking day again. And shit. I just can't shut the fuck up. Sometimes I just need to shut the fuck up. Sometimes you should just write a comment that says, shut the fuck up!